because the rules now favor offense. If you can hire an offensive coach, do it. But Snyder would argue he did find Sean McVay, the defensive version, in Mike Macdonald. Handsome, fit, smart, intense, a culture builder, pro player, but tough on players. That's Sean McVay on defense. So remember that Washington coaching tree when they had LaFleur, McVay, Shanahan, Mike Macdonald? Well, Mike Macdonald, he did the Harbaugh tree. He was with the Ravens and John Harbaugh, and then Jim Harbaugh needed a defensive coordinator, called his brother, and he went to Michigan, and he crushed in both. So, and it's really McVay. Minute he walks in the door, he's got a presence. That's what I've said about Mike Kafka with the Giants. I hear he doesn't have much of a presence. This guy walks into a room, big chest, handsome, fit, smart, intense, looks like an athlete, players buy into him. And that's the thing is, McVay instantly. The Rams offense with all the jet sweeps, it just looked different. Seattle, the minute Mike Macdonald walked in, three things became very clear. Number one, they were going to be a physical team running the football. Number two, hyper-aggressive. It's why he loves Sam Darnold as the quarterback. Sam loves to let it fly down the field. It's why the GM just made a Rashid Shaheed deal from New Orleans. More deep balls. JSN, more deep balls. So, and the third thing, it's very obvious, is special teams means a lot. Seattle special teams are excellent. So, and I always say this, Pete Carroll, old school, left Seattle, and he was a defensive guy. Literally, a month in, the defense was better with a new school guy, defensive head coach. So everybody wants the next McVay. They found it just on the defensive side. And you can see poor coaching, Jets, and really smart coaching. McVay takes over the Rams. Macdonald takes over Seattle. You can see it instantly, mostly by identity. What are you? Right now, New England, unbelievable on first down, tough, better defense, don't make a lot of mistakes. That's them. Seattle, Greg Cosell talked about it yesterday. Their hyper-aggressive defense, how it stacks up with the Rams.
You're dealing with the two defenses that stunt the most of any team in the league. They don't necessarily blitz a high percentage, but they're very aggressive with their multiple stunt concepts, and they've got a lot of defensive linemen up front who are very good at that, whether they're penetrators, whether they're loopers, and that's how they generate pressure, and they're very aggressive. And I think an overlooked player is the rookie for Seattle, Nick Imanwari, who's being used by Mike Macdonald, kind of the way he used Kyle Hamilton in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's back end to the front. Seattle is the real deal. They've been a bit less efficient, a little more reckless because they take a lot of shots down the field. You know, Puka doesn't go down the field deep that often. JSN does.
They aren't reckless. They're aggressive and assertive. That's the core of my take on what separates a coach like Mike Macdonald from the rest. I actually agree with Colin in many ways about wanting an offensive head coach. Defensive coaches, especially in this era, can sometimes struggle because the rules favor offense, and you want that offensive-minded leader to connect with your quarterback, particularly a young, developing one. A common trait we see with defensive coaches is that they tend to be more conservative by nature. They are often unwilling to take chances, whether in roster construction, moving on from a quarterback, or in play calling. Mike Macdonald completely defies that mold. He wants to be aggressive on both sides of the ball, from how the team is built to the X's and O's on the field. It's awesome to see, and he's also a culture guy. It has been an absolute slam dunk hire, 100%. Even though we are in such an offensively driven NFL right now, I do think the pendulum is starting to swing back. It's becoming very obvious, and I'm sure this will change once everyone catches up, that you are going to win a lot of games by simply making the opposing quarterback uncomfortable. This has always been true, but it felt like we were in a 3 or 4 year window where it seemed almost impossible. You couldn't make Josh Allen uncomfortable. You couldn't make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable. Now, it feels like defenses have figured out how to take away some of those off-script plays. Sure, these elite quarterbacks will still burn you occasionally, but when you consistently make them uncomfortable, you win a lot of games. Think about how the Philadelphia Eagles dominated the Kansas City Chiefs. It started with their defense. They essentially said, "You can't do anything against us." If the other team literally can't score or move the ball past the 50-yard line, they cannot win. Why did the Bills lose to the Chiefs? Because the Chiefs were able to move the ball. Patrick Mahomes made big plays and Andy Reid worked his magic. Why did the Commanders beat the Detroit Lions? They moved the ball and made Jared Goff uncomfortable. Why did the Eagles beat the Commanders? They made Jaden Daniels uncomfortable all game, forced 3 or 4 turnovers, and their own offense was unstoppable, going 7 for 7 in the red zone. It's that simple. The reason the Eagles aren't winning as dominantly this year is that their offense is being stopped more often. Why are they still winning? Because their defense is getting big stops, creating turnovers and disrupting opponents. This is the pendulum swinging. That's why I see the Seattle Seahawks as such a complete team. Though I should say I, because many still doubt them. A comment like, "Got to focus on us, not noise about Rams," from McDonald is a perfect example of their mindset. The Seahawks have a lot to prove this weekend. We haven't seen this specific iteration of the team, with Sam Darnold, Clint Kubiak, etc., perform at their best in the biggest moments against the best competition. This is their first year together. We saw a glimpse in that back-and-forth game against the Buccaneers, but the Seahawks made mistakes, had some baffling trick play calls that still make me mad, and their defense didn't rise to the occasion. They straight up lost that game. Since then, they've taken care of business, but the competition hasn't been on their level. Now, they face the Rams, who are definitely on their level. It's up to the Seahawks to show that the Rams aren't, or if they are, then it comes down to execution. What can the Seahawks defense do to make Matthew Stafford uncomfortable? What can this offense do against a high-level Rams defense? This is a matchup between two of the best teams in the NFL right now. What teams like the Chiefs and Eagles have proven is that in these critical moments against elite opponents, they execute. They get the game-winning touchdown, they convert when they have to. This is the one missing link the Seahawks have not yet demonstrated. Not because they can't, but because the opportunity hasn't fully presented itself. They had a moment against the Cardinals, but that was against the Cardinals. You have to do it against the Rams, the Eagles, and the Chiefs. You have to do it against the best. Look at the Eagles against the Chiefs this year. It was an ugly, low-scoring game. In a crucial moment, Jalen Hurts, while being swarmed by defenders, made a play, hitting Devonta Smith for a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, trying to answer, threw a pass to Travis Kelce that was tipped and intercepted. It comes down to making the plays when they matter most against the best teams. What the Eagles did to the Chiefs and Commanders last year was an outlier. More often, games are like the one against the Packers or Rams, decided by a single, critical play. When Matthew Stafford was driving to win the game, Jalen Carter sacked him, saying, "Not today." That's making the play in a gotta-have-it moment. This is what the Seahawks need to show and solidify. Will this game against the Rams present that opportunity? I don't know. But if it does, that is exactly what we should be looking for. If they come up short because they couldn't make that play, then the question becomes, how do they take that next step? Because it is a necessary step. Not every game will be like the one against the Cardinals. I'm excited to continue watching the story of the Seattle Seahawks unfold. It's been an absolute pleasure. This game against the Rams is the big one right now. I can't wait. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Seattle Seahawks? Are they clearly one of the best teams in the NFL? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree, let's get some discussions going, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and would love to have you be a part of it. I want to build something we all feel connected to and are really excited about. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.